friends, I am Dolores Williams of DWSU Stand Up. I want to thank my sponsors for making these podcasts possible. Pernicanas Ristorante has been serving pizza and homemade pasta and rolls in San Diego since 1946. The restaurant is located at 9933 Mercy Road at Scripps Parkway. You can get special catering and events. For the best real estate service in San Diego, contact Paula Witzel at San Diego County Real Estate, 619-585-0945. Go to www.lealrealty.com or Paula at realestate.com. Henry A. Martinez is the change needed in Chula Vista. He is running for the city council in District 3. He is the only homeowner running in this race. He is a 32-year Navy veteran, decorated Afghanistan war veteran. Mr. Martinez is an honest man of high character. Our district needs a person that is 100% committed to the community of Chula Vista. www.martinez4citycouncil.com. Arthur Schaefer, organizing director, Mass Resistance, an effective international pro-family group fighting for 25 years the LGBT agenda, indoctrination of our children, stop the drag queen story hours, corrupt sex ed curricula, and bad legislation across our country. Arthur Schaefer can be reached at 781-474-3005 or arthur@massresistance.com. Thank you. You are in for a treat today. Please be sure to watch the podcast. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to DWSU Stand Up. If we do not stand up for what we believe, who will? Today, I want to thank my audience, those who come each week and listen to these podcasts, listen to these interviews. I want to thank you because I appreciate you taking the time when you have other things you could be doing, but this is important. Today, I have a very, very special guest. My guest today is Wendy Hauffman. Wendy is a chief operating officer of San Diego County Gun Owners, and she handles the day-to-day operations of this organization. She is a wife and a mother of 2 young daughters. And Wendy holds a bachelor's degree from UC San Diego in management science. She is currently pursuing her MBA from the University of Southern California. My audience and friends, help me welcome Mrs. Wendy Hauffman. Good morning, Wendy. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Good morning.
Yes, I am blessed. I'm just honored to have you today, and we're going to jump right into this conversation today. Now, Wendy, I want to start out with the profession that you are in. How in the world did you get into shooting? Because you are a young lady. How did you get into shooting?
Well, I dated a gentleman many, many years ago who really enjoyed shooting. And after the relationship ended, I discovered that I still really enjoyed it. So I started going a lot on my own, started going to the range. I bought my own gun. And one of the things that started happening as I, would share on social media about my trips to the range was that I heard a lot of people tell me, I heard the same things over and over again. I would hear, oh, I've always wanted to do that, but I don't want to go by myself. Or I've always wanted to do that, but I don't know where to start. And especially from my female friends, I would hear that they were really intimidated and they were scared that it was, always a room full of men and they just didn't want to be the only girl there and just feel like they didn't know what they were doing. So I started taking some friends to the range, and I discovered that I really liked teaching. So I became an instructor. I got more involved in the Second Amendment, and that's how I found San Diego County gun owners too.
Oh, that is very exciting. You know what? That's something I'm going to have to do one day.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. Now, tell me about Not Me SD. Can you share what that's about?
Sure. It's a program by San Diego County gun owners. It's our initiative to stop domestic violence and sexual assault. So the way we do that is to empower women to take their own safety into their own hands. And the main way we do that is to help women become firearm owners, to get trained in that firearm, and eventually, if they're interested, to also apply for their CCW, which is their concealed carry permit. And the thing that I really like about this program is that it's a one-on-one mentorship program. All of our ambassadors are ladies as well, and they are all ladies who have purchased a firearm before, they've done training, so they know what to look for. One of the big hurdles for women coming into the shooting world is that there's just so much information out there and they don't even know what to ask. So, if I have a question, I can Google it. I may or may not get a good answer, but a lot of the times what's even worse is I don't even know what to put in the search box because there's just so much information that I don't know where to start. So this program is one where there's a personal relationship between our ambassadors and our applicants, and they have experience in all of these things and can help figure out what questions to ask and help guide a new gun owner to becoming a trained, law-abiding citizen who can take their own safety into their hands.
Now, how long would you say that it takes, like a beginner like me, for instance, how long would it take for a woman to become proficient? Does it depend on how much training, how much time she spends? How does that work?
Absolutely all of the above. So my recommendation is to take a really good fundamentals course. So take some sort of formal training where you get an in-depth safety briefing, you learn all the fundamentals about how to hold it, how to pull the trigger, how to stand, how to aim, all those kinds of things. Once you get a really good basis, you can practice a lot on your own. And then periodically you want to get more training so that you can build on those fundamentals that you've learned already, and you can add stuff to it. So you can learn how to diagnose your own targets and see what improvements you can make. You can practice more difficult drills. You can practice different drills to apply to different scenarios. So it just really depends on how much time that the person puts into it. But it is a perishable skill. It's not like riding a bike. You do have to keep up with it and keep going to the range and keep practicing.
Oh, that's great. Now, can you talk a little bit more about the concealed carry permit and what's required to get that?
Sure. So a concealed carry permit is a license that allows an individual to carry a firearm, a loaded firearm, on their person in public areas. So I can take my loaded gun. I would carry it in a holster on my body. There are other options as well. There are other off-body options. But in general, most people would carry on their person. And that allows me to carry my firearm while I'm driving, while I'm at the grocery store, while I'm out and about in the world. And if I come across a situation where I feel like I need to defend myself, then I can absolutely use that as an option.
Oh.
The interesting thing about CCWs in San Diego is that it used to be extremely difficult to get one. The sheriff used to be really restrictive about who he would issue to. a couple of years ago, San Diego County Gun Owners was really getting involved in the election in 2016 when Sheriff Gore was running for re-election. And CCWs were a big issue for gun owners. A lot of people wanted one, but pretty much everybody knew that it just wasn't possible because of his restrictions. So one thing that San Diego County Gun Owners did was we went after the sheriff in the media. We told everybody the truth about him having absolute authority to make the decision about whether or not to issue. Because a lot of the people believed that, you know, oh, he's restricted by state law or he's restricted by this court case that's been pending. But he actually was able to change his policy at any time. So we were able to disclose that to the media. We went after his donors and said, hey, you know, this is what you're supporting right now. Is this really what you want? And all of these things culminated in him actually changing his mind. So he's completely turned his CCW policy around. So it is very possible to get a CCW these days. We have more than tripled the amount of permit holders in San Diego County in the last 4 years. Excuse me. And the process, I'm so sorry. So the process is there's an application, and an individual does have to provide a good cause statement. So you do have to give a reason, but it's not impossible anymore. It's not as easy as, hey, I want one for self-defense or because it's my Second Amendment right. But it is, we have a template to help you write the good cause statement. So, so we've seen thousands of people get through the process. So once you submit the application, there's quite a long waiting period right now because the Sheriff's Department is very, very inundated with applications. But once you have your appointment, you would formally submit your application at that time. They would review it with you and they would submit that to the review board. They run a very detailed background check and you know, decide whether or not to approve your good cause statement. Once you have gone through the approval, then you would have to take an 8-hour course that's mandated by the state, and there's a specific number of instructors that the sheriff has authorized to do these courses. So you would take an 8-hour course. It involves live fire, so you do have to actually shoot during this class to show your proficiency. And then there's a short multiple choice, short answer safety exam as well. And then you would take that certificate to the department and the Sheriff's Department, and you would get your CCW. So that's a really, really condensed version. It takes, you know, 6 to 8 months, maybe longer these days, but it's very possible. So I encourage anybody who is interested in concealed carrying to check out our website. We have a lot of resources on there about the permit process, and we do seminars about how the permit process works, how to write your good cause statement. So there's a lot more information there, but it's very, very doable.
Yeah, well, that is wonderful. It's very good to know, especially for women, to know that there's an organization such as yours for those who would like to. And you know, it's nothing wrong with having it. And I want to move to the next question. We are blessed in this country to have the Second Amendment, and I want to ask you, why is it important for us to preserve the Second Amendment? Because a lot of people don't have it, and a lot of people want to take it away.
Mm-hmm. The most important thing to me is the ability to defend myself in any situation. So we're all ladies here, you know, I work with a lot of women as well, and there's a definite physical inequality when it comes to our presence in the world, you know, out in public. If a criminal, who is very possible that it's a male, who is going to be taller than me, stronger than me, you know, way more than me, I need something to be able to protect myself and my children and my family. And a firearm is absolutely one of the most effective ways that I can do that. So that's why the Second Amendment is important to me. And there are people, there are politicians out there who do want to take away those rights. There are already so many laws in place. We have background checks, we have restrictions on what types of firearms we can buy. We have, ammunition needs to be registered. Every day, semi-automatic rifles are rebranded by the state as assault weapons and required to be registered. These are all ways that they're kind of chipping away at our rights, ultimately in order to remove the possibility of me being able to have a firearm, to carry it in public, or to even own it. So the Second Amendment is definitely a big, it's a big passion for me. And that's why I'm involved with San Diego County Gun Owners. It's a really unique organization because we focus on the city and county level only, hence the name San Diego County Gun Owners. And one of the ways that we are fighting to preserve and even restore the Second Amendment is to focus on getting pro 2A politicians in office at the city and county level. So there's a lot of ways to fight back. It is not a lost cause, and it is so important that everybody preserve the right to be able to defend themselves, whether it's a firearm or not. It's all related. Once they start taking away our ability to defend ourselves with firearms, what's going to be next? We don't know.
Yeah, you're correct about that. And all we have to do is look at Cuba and Venezuela, China. All we have to do is look at communist countries where, some of them started out with this precious right to own a gun, to carry, and to do these kind of things. And they had dictators who came in, people who promised things, oh, we'll take care of you, and you don't need to be able to protect yourself. We'll do that for you. But no, that is a God-given right to protect ourselves, to protect our families. And so this is a wonderful what you're doing. And I'm very thankful that you're out there fighting for not just women, but for the American people. And you're standing up for San Diego County. So San Diego County is very blessed to have an organization such as yours to be out there fighting. And so we definitely, this is, it's kind of a somber conversation, but yet it's one that needs to be had, and it's information that people need to know. So I'm thankful that you're here today sharing this information. Now, would you share one of the resources for citizens who want an introduction to safety arms training in San Diego at your group, San Diego County Gun Owners, as a resource for people who, who want to get that help? Would they contact you? And do you mentor them through the whole process? Is it something that even when they learn that they can still be in contact with your organization?
San Diego County Gun Owners has many resources. The first one that I would share is a program we have called What the Gun. So it's a training resource. It's a website with classes that are held all around the county, and these are all specific to brand new shooters. So one thing that I really like about it is that it tells you, it has more than just a description of the class. It also has who the instructor is. It has how long the class is, how much it costs, what it includes. Like some classes have live fire, some classes don't. So I can really look at this website and get a really good picture of all the options around the county, and I can make a decision based on what I need rather than calling around and having people sell to me. So that one's a really great program. We also do what we call shooting socials. So these are not formal trainings. These are informal introductions to what shooting is like. So there aren't, there's no formal instruction. It's kind of a casual get together where we go to the range. We have a bunch of mentors who volunteer their time, and they love doing this. They love sharing the shooting experience with people. And we do these about once a month. So we get together, go to the range. The fee covers everything. So you would just show up, and we would provide a gun, 50 rounds of ammo. It's about 2 hour and a half to 2 hours, and it's $50. So this is a really good, it's a really good price. It's a really good introduction to just trying your hand at shooting. And they sell out super fast. So if anyone's interested in one of those, check out our website. Our website, SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. There's a page on there called Shooting Socials. The What the Gun program is called Training. So those are two really great resources. And then specifically for women, we have the Not Me SD program that we talked about earlier. The ambassadors help guide our ladies to a lot of different training opportunities around the county. One thing that is really missing that I think women don't realize exists is there are a lot of programs out there that are specifically for women to introduce them to firearms. There's a couple of shooting groups. I actually run one as well. There's 2 others around the county. They meet monthly and provide a camaraderie of just women who want to get together and shoot and learn. So there are a lot of options out there specifically for women as well. And if they're interested in that, we have a page on our website called Not Me SD.
Yeah, I'm just curious, with all the women that you work with your group, have you trained any women who've had to use their training? You know of anyone that's had?
That is a good question. I feel like I have, and I cannot remember a story off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's happened. One of our 10 members, he's happens to be a guy, but he used to work at he used to own a taco truck, and somebody actually tried to rob him at gunpoint for the cash in the taco truck. And so in that situation, he did actually have to draw his firearm to protect himself. And luckily he didn't have to fire. Just the fact that he had the firearm with him allowed him to mitigate that circumstance to keep it from escalating any further. So while it's not specific to ladies, it is something that applies to everybody across the county.
Oh, that's great. It's good to have that training, because you never know today what can happen.
Yeah, and training is so important. I mentioned it's a perishable skill, but being a concealed carry weapon holder is even more of a higher standard, because you're not just potentially keeping it in a closet at home. You are out in public with your loaded firearm, and it is so important to be well trained and practice those skills so that you are as effective as possible if you ever need to use it.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I know that you are the COO. Now, what kind of issues come up for you on a daily basis in that position?
It's a really fun mix of things. I actually have a legal background, so I worked at a law firm for 10 years, so I do a lot of organizational stuff. I also have an event management background, so that just kind of all fit together very well. So we do a lot of events. Right now, during COVID times, they're all virtual, but it doesn't make them any easier to plan. So we still do a lot of those. We do monthly meetings. We have seminars to help people with getting their CCWs. We also are a membership-based program, so we have different levels of membership. We do programs for our members. So I handle all of that. And then we also support candidates directly. So we're organized as a political action committee. And one of the very, very cool things about that is that we can take actions directly on behalf of candidates that we have endorsed. So we can actually help them get elected, as opposed to just, more than just telling people who to vote for. We can actually donate money to the cause. We can provide time and volunteers and to their specific campaigns. But yes, we also have a voter guide that we promote all over the place. So I do a little bit of everything. We have shooting events, we have online events, we have member management, customer service, and of course, the most important goal for us is to get the right candidates elected.
Wow, that is powerful. That is so great because you are a stand for the Second Amendment. And that is great to have I'm glad your organization is operating here in San Diego. And I hope that even people who are looking in other states, I'm sure you could recommend resources to people in other states. I'm sure you have connections all over the country that you could recommend people to who wanted to get this training.
The Second Amendment community is very tight knit, and it's one of the things that I really love about it. It's a small group. There's several million gun owners out there, but we all support each other, and the industry is pretty close. So we can definitely help refer people in other states. And we also, San Diego also has sister organizations here in California. We have an Orange County Gun Owners, a Riverside County Gun Owners, and a San Bernardino County Gun Owners. And they're all set up the same way. They're all political action committees that are focused on getting the right candidates elected at the city and county level only.
Wow, that is powerful. Well, I'm glad, so happy I had the chance, Wendy, to meet you. And I'm so thankful for you for coming on this podcast today and doing an interview and sharing information that is so needed and so pertinent to our society. Because I tell you, the Second Amendment, I don't know how to shoot. I grew up in a home where my dad always had a gun, in the country. Everyone had a gun in their home. It's not like today where people are afraid of guns. We always had, my dad had a rifle and it was always there. And I actually was afraid of trying to shoot the gun, and so yeah, I think maybe something I might need to look into down the road. But,
absolutely, I think there's such a fear that has been propagated, particularly by the media and then by other people who just don't know about firearms. Yeah. It's a tool. Anyone can learn how to use it, and I learned how to use it, so yes, I highly encourage you to check it out. We'll go shooting sometime, but it is a lot of fun. It is really empowering, more than just taking charge of your own Second Amendment rights, but it is also taking charge of yourself and your safety in your own life. So I really love doing it, and it's super fun too. So we'll go shooting sometime.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just curious about this. Now you have 2 daughters. At what point will you get them trained in how to use guns?
That's a good question. So my oldest daughter is almost 5, so they're pretty young. So she's had a little introduction. We haven't taken her shooting yet, but we have shown her the safety rules with BB guns. And we talk about our safety a lot. But I have seen kids as young as 5 at the range. And a lot of it is about the parent's own judgment of the child's maturity and ability to follow directions. So I think if we took her to the range now, she would do great. But it is going to be a slow introduction. We're going to emphasize safety as the number one important thing that we're going to talk about at the range. It's going to be safety, safety, safety. But absolutely, small children can definitely be responsible with a firearm. Not on their own, but they can handle it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great. And I think it also would help them to be more mature and more responsible. Because that's a big responsibility, owning or shooting a firearm is something that's would definitely require a lot of patience in teaching little ones, but I think it's something worthy. But Wendy, I want to thank you so much for coming. Do you have any closing remarks, things, contacts, anything you want to share before we end?
Sure. I just wanted to share our website one more time, San Diego County Gun Owners.com. There is a ton of content on there. We have a weekly newsletter. We do a lot of media appearances. One of the cool things about the organization is that now we're the go-to place for the news when they have questions about anything firearms related. So we can present a normal, everyday gun owner voice to the media. So those are all on our website as well. Not Me SD program is there. The training website is there. And the CCW resource on how to get your CCW, how to apply, how to write your good cause statement, all of those are on there. So check it out, support your Second Amendment rights, and we hope to see you soon.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so thankful. And to you, my audience, thank you so much for listening once again. Please contact me at dwsviewstandup@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also, if you want to be a sponsor, I would love to have you be a sponsor on this podcast. And you can contact me for details about that, but would love to have you. And I'm going to go ahead and close this today. And I'm just thankful for what we have heard today. But I do want to close in a word of prayer. And as we end, I want to close in prayer. And dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this information we have heard today. We give you thanks for this country, and we give you thanks for our Second Amendment that you've given us, God, as a tool for good. And as we bow in prayer, God, we want to lift up our nation, and we want to lift up our president today and his wife and any others who have been diagnosed with this COVID-19, not just COVID, God. We just want to lift up any who have health issues, but we in particular want to lift our president and our first lady up and all those around them and any others with the COVID, God. We just pray your protection over them, and we pray for them to have a recovery, a speedy recovery, Lord. But we pray for our nation. I want to pray for our nation most of all, God, that all the divisions and all the hate and all these things that are happening, we know that the enemy is Satan, who comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy, and to divide us. And I pray that this, what has happened to our president, will be used as a time for us to come together as a nation, as we should, God, realizing that we are not each other's enemy, but we do have an enemy who will divide us. And my prayer is that we will not bow down to the division that is coming to us, God. Let us not take part in that. Instead, let us be positive. Let us be thankful and thank God for all of his blessings. And Lord, we give you all the praise and all the thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.